What if one old rumor, buried for years, suddenly came back and changed everything you thought you knew? Imagine waking up one morning thinking your past is safe, only to realize someone with a huge voice just started asking the one question you hoped would never be asked. This is not about shouting accusations. This is about quiet dots being connected, slowly and carefully in front of millions of people. And once those dots appear, they are very hard to erase. January 2026 felt like a fresh start. Meghan Markle believed the hardest chapters of her past were closed forever. The old whispers were fading. The rumors about yachts, rich circles, and powerful people seemed locked away where no one would dig them up again. She likely thought she had moved on clean, that nothing could link her back to those stories anymore. For a moment, it probably felt safe. Then one voice changed everything. Joe Rogan stepped in, and he did not tiptoe. He did not whisper. He did not soften his words. He asked questions out loud, without filters and without fear. When Joe Rogan pulls on a loose thread, he keeps pulling until the whole sweater comes apart. This time, the thread led straight into a past Meghan allegedly wanted forgotten forever. Joe began talking about yachts, elite social scenes, and powerful people connected to dark scandals. He spoke about circles Meghan never wants her name near again, and when he brought up these topics, it was not gossip blogs or tabloid writers doing the talking. It was the most listened-to podcaster on the planet. That alone changed everything. Joe Rogan does not bend for royalty. He does not care about titles, money, or influence. Hollywood stars, billionaires, and royal families all get the same treatment. If something feels strange to him, he says it out loud. He does not follow royal rules or polite silence. When something does not add up, he calls it out. Behind the scenes, things reportedly went into chaos. Lawyers rushed to phones. Public relations teams panicked. Messages flew back and forth nonstop. The one story Meghan's team worked so hard to keep quiet was suddenly being talked about openly. Claims about yacht parties, elite connections, and possible ties to one of the most disgraced royals in modern history were now front and center. This is the nightmare for anyone who carefully builds a public image. Joe Rogan does not have a small audience. His podcast reaches around 200 million people across platforms. When he speaks, the internet listens. People clip his words, share them, and argue about them everywhere. That kind of reach makes him extremely dangerous to image-driven figures. Joe has criticized Meghan before, and he has never been gentle. Back in 2020, he mocked her openly, saying she seemed to be turning Prince Harry's life into a celebrity business. He joked about brand deals and endorsements. At the time, people laughed it off. Later, those jokes did not age poorly at all. In 2023, Joe revisited Meghan's comments about feeling objectified during her time on a game show. His reaction was blunt and sarcastic. He questioned what she expected from that role. There was no sympathy in his voice. That is how Joe operates. He does not sugarcoat anything. So when Joe allegedly started revisiting old yacht rumors and drawing lines between Meghan, elite social circles, and Prince Andrew, alarm bells rang loudly. This was not gossip media. This was not some small podcast. This was Joe Rogan, uncensored and impossible to control. Joe is not mainstream media. He cannot be silenced easily. He cannot be pressured quietly. He cannot be bought off. And when someone with that kind of reach starts asking questions about exclusive parties, private introductions, and social pipelines nobody wants exposed, it quickly becomes a full-scale image crisis. What makes this even more serious is that these rumors are not new. They have floated around for years, but no one with Joe's reach dared to talk about them openly before. Author Kirby Summers has researched elite social networks for a long time. During her work, she claims to have found possible links suggesting Meghan may have crossed paths with Prince Andrew long before she ever met Prince Harry. Summers alleges there could be photos from the early 2000s showing Meghan on a yacht in Thailand where Prince Andrew was reportedly present. According to her, these images exist but were never published by major media outlets. That alone raises questions. Why would photos like that stay hidden for so long? One name keeps coming up again and again in this story: Marcus Anderson. He is known for his role at Soho House. Summers suggests he may have helped introduce Meghan to high-level social circles years before she became royal. He connected powerful people from entertainment, business, and elite networks. This is the thread Joe reportedly started pulling. There's also proof that Meghan received an invitation to Yacht Week in Croatia in 2016. This event was not described as a quiet vacation. People who attended called it a non-stop party scene. Wealthy men and attractive women mixed together under unspoken rules. Did Meghan attend? No one can say for sure, but the invitation existed. The access existed. That is the part Joe keeps coming back to. When tabloids talk about yacht rumors, people ignore it. When royal authors mention them, critics call it speculation. But when Joe Rogan breaks it down for hundreds of millions of listeners, it hits differently. Joe has already survived backlash, media attacks, and cancellation attempts. Nothing has stopped him yet. When Joe asks why mainstream media never investigated these connections properly, people lean in. His audience starts asking questions. They dig deeper. They share clips. They demand answers. Carefully shaped stories start to crack under that pressure. Reports suggest Meghan's team went into full panic mode not because Joe made claims, but because he asked questions they could not control. You can pressure tabloids with lawsuits. You can manage royal press with access deals. But Joe Rogan does not answer to any of that. Marcus Anderson becomes central to this story. He is the global membership director for Soho House. He is also the man who introduced Meghan to Prince Harry. That part is well known, but Joe keeps asking what came before that. How did Anderson know Meghan was the right match for a prince? What kind of relationship did they have before Harry entered the picture? Soho House is not just a social club. It is a powerful networking system. Private rooms, private parties, private introductions, everything happens away from public view. Anderson's job is to decide who meets who. That level of access matters. Joe suggests that if Meghan was already moving through elite circles years earlier, then meeting Harry may not have been random at all. He frames it as strategic networking at the highest level. That idea has now reached millions of listeners. Summers also claims mainstream media outlets may already have photos showing Meghan on a yacht with Prince Andrew from the early 2000s. Joe keeps asking why no one has published them. If they exist, why stay silent? Legal threats, lawsuits, and fear often stop stories when powerful people are involved. Fact-checkers have pushed back, saying some images online show another woman, not Meghan. That may be true for viral photos, but Summers claims she is talking about different images held privately by major outlets. That difference matters. Joe calls out what he sees as a double standard. He asks why Meghan gets a pass when others with similar rumors would be questioned non-stop. This makes many people uncomfortable. Here is Meghan's real problem. She can sue tabloids, she can use lawyers, she can control press access. But she cannot silence Joe Rogan. Any attempt to do so would only make things worse. So her team reportedly stays silent, hoping the story fades. But silence looks like avoidance when Joe keeps asking the same questions. Responding adds fuel. Ignoring it does not stop him. Either way, it is a losing position. Joe keeps pushing. He keeps pointing out connections. He keeps revisiting the topic because no one can shut him down. That pressure does not just affect Meghan, it affects Prince Harry too. If these rumors gain wider belief, Harry's image takes a hit. He starts to look misled, not protected. Imagine realizing your wife may have known your disgraced uncle long before meeting you. Imagine learning your love story might not be as simple as you believed. That is the picture Joe paints, and even if people do not fully believe it, the questions alone cause damage. Once asked, they do not disappear. Mainstream media rarely talks about Soho House. Joe does. The club runs on secrecy. No photos, no recordings. That secrecy is the product. When Joe asks what really happened inside those rooms, the spotlight turns harsh. Yacht rumors once stayed in conspiracy corners. Now they are discussed openly by the biggest podcaster in the world. Joe has questioned Meghan's story for years, suggesting she does not share everything. If Meghan stays silent, people wonder why. If she speaks, Joe asks more questions. That is the trap. He is not calling her guilty. He is saying, explain the connections. Then he lets the audience decide. That approach is powerful. People trust conclusions they reach on their own. Joe's audience is doing exactly that. Joe is not backing off. He has reach, protection, and influence. Because of him, yacht rumors are now part of public conversation. The Prince Andrew connection is questioned openly. The Marcus Anderson network is under real scrutiny. Once Joe Rogan starts asking questions mainstream media avoids, there is no easy escape. You cannot force people to forget what they are already thinking about. At this point, the issue is not just whether the rumors are true. The real question is whether Meghan can survive those questions being asked in front of 200 million people. Joe did not make a claim. He started a conversation, And once that conversation begins, it does not simply go away.